Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. You know, when I talk about MCOC stories, a lot of times I never know what I'm going to say or what I'm going to even talk about until I wake up. And part of the beauty of reporting on the news of this community is that no 2 days are ever the same. And there are people far smarter than me who notice things far more critically than I do, that I get to shout out on forum posts and talk on my channel about the issue, such is the case today with Maxwell 2454 with the Viv situation, as the post calls it. So I have not looked into this much, but of course you can look at stats and you can look at different metrics when the new patch comes out, which of course it has. Its new content week, and look at just make some eyeball observations about attack, health, block proficiency, etc. So Maxwell says Viv has a whopping 10% block proficiency, officially being the worst in the game by miles, with MODOK in second with 28%. And Viv also has the 10th lowest health pool in the game. And as a cherry on top, a 4.5 crit rate. Basically, she has the worst stats in the game, and I get that. It was Kabam's way of balancing her with her phasing and all. But that phase can easily be countered by ability accuracy reduction and other miscounters. And one mistake, and you're going to be dead due to her low health pool, and the fact that you can't really block with her, or else you're dead. Could make her either a very high skill champ or just flat out unplayable. I'm going to wait till she's fully out to completely judge her, but still this is very worrying for what otherwise seems like a great addition to the game. So, shots fired, needless to say. Now, I will say this. When you fight somebody as a boss in Incursions, especially when they're in a higher room at the highest, in this case, I guess, threat level 5, they're going to have steroid nodes and added stats, and they're going to look amazing. The same is true, of course, for when they're the final boss of different difficulties of Event Quest, especially now that we have Thronebreaker. So if the phasing is really annoying and difficult to fight, especially if you don't have a ability accuracy reduction champion on deck, at least in those scenarios, I appreciate that the stats are reasonable, but I get that if you use a champion on attack, unless you have used, say, rainbow boosts and given yourself a greater champion boost, an attack boost, and a health boost, you're not going to see that on your end. You're going to see it on defense, but not on offense. So this is an interesting discussion. I heard on YouTube she was top shelf. I knew she was overrated. Is that legal action? Is that what that is? Skylord 7000, I think it's a bug. It's because YouTubers earn money for a living with MCOC videos. Of course, every new champ is crazy in top shelf. In fairness, I have not seen that from KT1. I have not seen that even from Legacy. I have seen people before say that new champions are not exciting, but it is just basic mental logic that if you're in a program to promote something, it's more exciting to say that something's good than something's meh. But with that being said, we've seen so many champions, over 200 champions now in this game, that we should have a pretty good idea of the ceiling of some of these champions. Gingerbread Monster. She ain't even out yet for everyone to use. Graves, I think OP made it clear that they will wait until she is released before fully judging her. Also read from someone in this thread that she is too top shelf and overrated already. So you can see all these different comments. All these different comments. And then eventually, because there is a lot of discussion on this, we do get a Kabam response. By the way, Wicked says every time somebody on the forum invokes free speech, Groot's buff gets delayed another 3 months. I'm sorry I don't make the rules. Imagine if that was true. Grounded Wisdom says free speech is not a concept that applies to a public forum such as this. We have the freedom to share whatever we like relating to the game, provided it falls in line with the rules here. It's not a total freedom, which I'm grateful for. I'd hate to see this place turn into Twitter lately. Ooh, shots fired at Twitter. So going to page 2 and scrolling down, Kabam Mike tries to drop the mic and show off this perspective. Hey all, Viv stats are not placeholders and they are not a bug, but before you make up your mind on her, you should really see her in action. That might change your mind, or it might not, but at least you'll be basing your opinion off of the whole picture. As a general rule, if a stat is low, you probably won't be using it much. From our designer, Viv can avoid all damage from blocks and can effectively parry in almost any situation. She's also immune to bleed and poison, so her low health is pretty well protected by her armor, which can get pretty high when she has 15 stacks of it. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think her armor rating as a 6 rank 5 is like around 2,800. CCP videos will be out soon, and if early reviews are any indication, I think she will have her fans. And then a response. I don't usually quote and do the this thing, but this. Viv is not going to a champ without counters, but that's a good thing. She'll shine in some places and not as much in others. You don't bring a knife to a gunfight. You don't bring a mystic to a torch fight. And you don't bring Viv to a true strike fight. The comment was, Quake could have the lowest block proficiency in the game, and it wouldn't matter. She doesn't need to block. Viv is designed to do the same. Don't block at all. Phase and counter. High skill, high reward. Ability actually can shut it down. The phase has a base chance to trigger of 125%, making it safe against folks like Domino. And if they're better at reducing ability accuracy than that, just don't use Viv for that fight. And the miss counters, again, why on earth would you take her into a fight against someone who countered miss? Would you try and use Quake to fight Mole Man, Night Thrasher, Iron Man, Infinity War, Strife? Their medium attacks can't be evaded. Personally, I just pick a different fight. Maybe use Viv, blah, blah. Okay, so I think it's interesting that we have this discussion. I would never have even looked up these stats. And so it does give me a chance to think about things that I would not normally think about without these comments. With that being said, we will figure out very soon how annoying she is to fight. And my guess is some people will be unpleasantly surprised by the experience, especially with the steroid nodes that make her a lot better in, say, Incursions or Event Quest. Also, if she's really, really, really annoying, she will suddenly be the top sought-after champion, not just for the arena, but especially for, of course, crystal purchases, because Battlegrounds, now everybody seems to have about the same roster. So getting the new best defensive champion or even offensive champion could be the difference between how high you climb in, say, the Gladiator circuit. So that is my 2 cents on this. I look forward to seeing other people's responses and reactions. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.